great to be here this morning at Develop3D Live 2022. Very excited to be talking with Matt Whelan from Ocado. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Jon.
For those of you who didn't see the whole morning, Matt was the star of Develop3D Live with an amazing keynote presentation this morning. Matt, I'd love to, in a few minutes, bring some of the magic of your talk to people here who may not have seen it, of course, a much larger audience for this video maybe. Oh, and by the way, I'm Jon Hirschtick from PTC. I am Chief Evangelist with the Onshape business. I've worked in building CAD systems for my entire career, CAD and PDM. Matt is one of our customers, which is fantastic. But anyway, Matt, will you tell us what Ocado does?
Yeah. So Ocado Technology, which is where I work, are helping to change the way the world shops through the application of incredible technology and logistics systems to put our retail partners all around the world online, bringing groceries to the front door of people around the world.
Okay. And an exciting business. So Ocado is in the grocery business themselves, but you're also making systems that are used around the world by other grocers, right?
That's right. So we have a platform called the Ocado Smart Platform, which is an end-to-end solution to create e-commerce grocery businesses. And we implement that for our retail partners.
And you showed this morning a video of it, but could you tell the audience what's the scale of one of these systems?
So the technology behind these grocery retail businesses, at its core is a system that we call the Hive. So this is a huge metal grid structure with thousands of semi-autonomous robots driving around, moving boxes. A system can have thousands of those machines and hundreds of thousands of boxes full of groceries, and we have to choreograph the motion of everything to put it all into the right place at the right time so that we can get your order shipped and brought to your door.
And so when you say in one facility, thousands of robots, the size of the typical installation where it would be how big?
So think a sort of large industrial estate unit. That will do, you know, at its extreme, the throughput of 35 massive hypermarkets. So there's a huge amount of sort of inbound and outbound traffic into these.
So these are like enormous fulfillment warehouses like we would think of being, you know, size of multiple football fields?
Yeah, a few football fields at the extreme.
Yeah.
It scales down as well. So the system can be used for massive economy of scale when you do a very large system, but it's also important to try and get into urban environments, get closer to the customers for the immediacy offering. So if you want something that's brought to your door within an hour, that's a service that we also offer around.
So you can scale it, but these can be massive with thousands of robots running around.
Yeah.
And that's happening today while we sit here. There's places with thousands of your robots. So you're building a new generation of robot. You talked about it this morning. I'd love if you could tell that story in a minute or two, the one you brought to life in your keynote. So
our flagship product today is our 500 series bot. This is the one that is running these live sites today. It's a fantastic piece of engineering. It was developed entirely in-house. It's achieved sort of incredible levels of reliability and performance. While we were finishing off the development of that, we were already trying to leapfrog ourselves. And we started working on this ultra lightweight design, which we now call the 600 series. So that lightweight design brings all kinds of benefits with it because you need smaller components to actually move it around, and that drives further weight reductions and cost reductions in the product. You need less power to run it. You need a less enormous structure to actually hold it up and let it operate. And you can even put it in smaller, lower spec buildings. So there's this whole series of knock-on benefits that you get from driving weight down. And to do that, we use additive manufacturing and a whole suite of advanced software tools, Onshape being one of them, to actually make that a reality.
Well, we're thrilled to use Onshape. And the bot, by the way, just to give people an idea of the size of it, the bot is what, about this large?
You could sit one on this table.
Yeah.
It's that kind of footprint. Yeah. And it'd be about this high. It carries a tote this kind of size that can have sort of about 35 kilograms of stuff in it.
Oh, 35 kilograms. Yep. Wow. I didn't see, I'm learning every time I hear you speak about it. I didn't realize it could be that heavy. So the bot has to do a lot of work, has to move around, and you're really concerned with weight reduction, speed. And so you adopted new tools, but what's really exciting is when I hear you talk about the process that you evolved. Sure, it's great you're using Onshape, but you're not using it just as a different CAD tool in place of your old CAD tool. You're changing the way your whole team works and using other tools too. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I'm a software guy, right? I did a computer science degree and I was writing simulations and control systems for Ocado for several years before I moved into this space. The mindset that you get in software, it is an industry that is built around constant change. You don't have to wait for software to be fabricated. Every change that you make is instant. And that means that you build up methodologies that allow you to make change a first-class citizen in your development process. And you get very, very good at collaboration, and you rely a lot on tooling to make that possible for big complex systems. So we've taken some of that mindset and applied it to the electromechanical complex product development space. And that's only really possible because we have an additive first design in the product. Because if you have to wait all the time to get parts in to actually perform those iterations, then you can't really harness that kind of power. So we have a lot of 3D printing in-house. We can do complete new generations of our product in very short iteration cycles. And that allows us to think quite differently about how we set ourselves up. And then the key right in the middle of it is then all the tooling you use, because it stops being about doing enough planning up front to be really, really sure before you hit go on something, and becomes about the continuous improvement and this cyclic iteration. And then all of the digital tooling that now exists, be it your chat tooling, be it your video conferencing tools that are very good today, or be it something like Onshape, which sits in the cloud and lets you collaborate in different countries at the same time on the same document. That all comes together to allow you to have this software style approach to how you actually design a piece of hardware.
Really agile product development, would you say?
Absolutely.
The way we have agile in software, agile product development. And it's really remarkable. And in the result, you feel that because you're using your process, your agile process, and your tool set means, do you think the biggest benefit is that you're designing faster, or that you're being more innovative, or both? Both. Yeah. So you're working faster and being more innovative. And do you feel, some people would worry, oh no, things are going to get out of control or whatever, but you're able to manage the data and the process in this fast-moving, agile way? Yeah,
I would actually argue that things are more in control. So one of the things that you get in the software world is an understanding that the way your code is going to be deployed is part of your day-to-day job, right? You can't go miles off the track from what your production environment looks like and then try and fix it 6 months from now. You should always be, it's the CI/CD, it's called in the software world, continuous integration, continuous deployment. So you should be in a production-ready state at all times. And that's really hard in hardware because iteration takes a long time. Yeah. But if your iterations are fast, then you can try and keep yourself in that ready state at all times. And that means the defining data around the product and thinking about the assemblability of it, because you're always building prototypes, and releasing regularly is a very powerful tool.
It's incredible how fast you move. And I know that in Onshape it's collaboration, and also we like to think that the way we approach PDM, the data management being built in without locking and checkout and copying files, I'm kind of hoping that's part of the story too, that you've been able to use Onshape's. You know, it's collaborative but controlled. You're using release management and things built into Onshape to help keep that higher level control while still having more speed and innovation. And I don't know if we covered it. Oh, first of all, anyone who wants to see more could just Google search for Ocado 600 series bot, right? There's some nice videos on YouTube and things. So if you want to see more, there's in the public domain, there's some really cool videos. But tell us about the result you got. I don't think we mentioned it yet. How striking are the results of the new 600 versus the 500 series?
Yeah, so it's less than a third of the weight of the bot that it follows.
Less than a third of the weight. I mean, you got to think about that. Anyone, and this is a pretty complicated industrial robotic device. This isn't just one part as a showpiece case study that you'd see in a trade show booth or an article. You've built a real industrial robot that is less than 1/3 the weight of the previous one.
Yeah.
That is, you cut out 2/3 of the weight.
Yeah,
That's
more than 2/3.
More than 2/3 of the weight. I mean, it's
But
just
it has to
stunning
do the same
me.
job.
Stunning to see that.
Its payload is the same, so it's got just as
Payload's the
hard
same.
work to do.
Yeah.
And the frequency of operations is the same because it's going to do exactly the same job. So that means so we have a mechanism for changing direction. We go from one set of wheels to another to drive on this grid. And we're going to do that about 10 million times a year. And these are sort of 10-year life products as well. So you're in the sort of 100 million cycles.
100 million
regime.
cycle is your design.
So it's a real bit of industrial equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, and so a lot of people out there are building, I'll talk to our customers building industrial equipment, and if they're achieving a 10 or 20% weight gain, weight improvement, weight loss, that's viewed as a huge cut, and you've cut over 2/3. And so, 100 million cycles, and you're confident with everything's additive manufactured, and you've used generative design and shape optimization very extensively, right?
Yeah, so the chassis of the bot is constructed of topology optimized structural elements printed in nylon, which give you this rigid weight optimized structure that you can then put your motors on, put your harness on, put your battery into, and connect everything up. But it's all based around ultra lightweight materials and design processes.
Well, and again, when if you look at the images of the Ocado 600, anyone will be struck by the extensive use of generative and additive. It's just apparent from looking at it. I remember seeing it. I was stunned to see a real example like this. And we have Onshape customers. We have many companies around the world. You've met many of them at some of our events. And a lot of users will have different reasons they choose us. Some just love cloud native tools and they just want cloud native, that's it. Some are using Slack, they're using Miro, and it just goes along. Others are looking, for cost savings, and they don't want to buy expensive workstations, or hassle savings of setting up, installing software, downloading, things like that. PDM improvements are another one, just totally improving the game in PDM. But I think the greatest reason I love to hear is when people change their process, like you. When Onshape can be a tool that lets you improve how your team works, that is the most exciting thing to me. And ultimately for us, it's all about seeing a product like the Ocado 600, the fact that we played a part in it as one of your tool suppliers, that makes us happier than anything. So Matt, I want to thank you for presenting at Develop3D Live. Awesome conference today. You set the tone for the whole day with a fantastic presentation. Thank you for being an Onshape customer. And most of all, thank you for inspiring all of us who are product developers to improve how we work with Agile product development. I'm sure we'll all be thinking of you next time we order groceries. I will be. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Jon.